Welcome to the greatest podcast of all time.
Is it Peanut's first podcast? Maybe.
I think this is Peanut's first podcast. I don't remember any others.
Ever. And, of course, we're talking about Colluvies at the movies.
Colluvies at the movies.
With Ethan, Patrick, and Vince.
Yes. Are we going to do some cringy introductions or to ourselves?
I'm Patrick Anderson, and I am a Colluvie.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to top that one, but I'm Vincent Anderson, joined by
Ethan Derby, right here. Ethan Derby, class of 2023.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 2023 and then
2022, baby.
I'm
senior. Okay, so on this first episode, I think we're going to dive right into the full review for the Book of Boba Fett.
Latest series from Disney Plus.
Book of Boba Fett, huh? That's interesting. You know, I don't really know how to feel about it.
Well, let's
get into it.
As a full series review, let's start off with it's not the greatest show.
No, it's very disappointing considering the short reputation that Disney Plus has had for producing quality content. This feels like a step backwards, sort of, in their trajectory.
Especially with how hot The Mandalorian got.
Well,
and
exactly.
With the number of viewers it had. Boba it feels like such a step down from the quality that Disney was producing. You know, we had the sequels, which were
it's its own episode, definitely.
And that will get an episode. But Disney was on the right path to producing some good Star Wars content once again, and I feel like it fell flat with Boba. Now, there are things that we did like about it, though.
100%. But it feels like the things that we like about it is also an issue because the best parts of Boba Fett are when it's not Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's literally not Boba Fett.
Mandalorian season 3.
2.5. Mandalorian 2.5.
Our season, yeah.
Yeah.
So
we have.
This show is basically setting up the rest of Disney's shows, I feel like, and it doesn't do it in the best way, if that makes any sense. It just feels like, you know, it's just cashing in to have the other shows brought forward. Like we see Ahsoka in it, setting up Ahsoka. We see Mandalorian, of course, setting up Mandalorian. So Book of Boba, he kind of falls flat here. It's not really a Book of Boba.
It's not.
It's a book of.
It's a book of Star Wars
Boba. Yeah.
Things, and Boba is. I mean, Boba is just completely wasted.
The least interesting character in his own show.
In his own show, there's even moments in the show where like he politely he can't get nicer. He literally can't get nicer. Where it was the final episode, and he's like, no more spice for a crime family. So he's okay. No more spice, Boba. And then, why
don't we break this down, though? Why don't we break this down episode by episode?
Okay.
All right, so let's go back to the beginning of the series, because I actually think that the series had an okay start. I like the stuff that
the
they
flashbacks.
did. I like the flashbacks. I like everything with the Tusken Raiders. I think that's a good direction to take him in. But even from back then, whenever it jumped to the modern day and him running the crime family, it was just so uninteresting.
The pacing just grinded to a halt. It grinded to a halt. And that is a really good point. Because there was no connection. There was no connection between, at least at the beginning, between Boba's flashbacks and the main story.
Right.
And that was the biggest problem with Boba because it was trying to juggle like 3 completely different storylines.
I think another issue is really like the disconnect with like the character of Boba, because they're treating Boba as if he's a character that we're familiar with like for years, and although we don't really know anything about Boba Fett until this series starts. I mean, he has very little dialogue in the original trilogy, so we're essentially being introduced to this character, but it doesn't feel like that at all.
It does. All we know Boba as is that he's a bounty hunter and he's a killer, right? He's a bounty hunter. That's all we know about him, right? He's Jango Fett's son, or clone of himself. So Jango Fett, a ruthless bounty hunter. He's literally a clone of Jango Fett. He's going to be a ruthless bounty hunter.
And he was a ruthless bounty hunter.
He is a ruthless bounty hunter.
He worked for the Empire. He worked under Darth Vader. So it's like...
And we got this 360 that's summed up in like these flashbacks that are just don't really make sense and aren't really true to the character, I feel like.
Well, and that's, I think... The biggest problem of the show when I was really analyzing it was Boba Fett's character arc is in the first episode. So
we see exactly his progression all throughout just that episode.
Literally, it's like in the first episode or the first couple episodes, I guess, when you would see the Tusken story, and that's why it was the most interesting because Boba Fett is finally like changing. But then that was the Tuskens. And so then
from that point, we're just waiting to get to the Mandalorian and the finale.
Exactly.
There's nothing.
Yeah. And then it's good Boba from then on out. And then it's just like, it's just, yeah.
I got to get to episode 3. So this is where these little teeny boppers show up. I got to talk about these people. The streets. It's called The Streets of Mos Espa, this episode. And it was directed by Robert Rodriguez, which I feel like I like Robert Rodriguez.
He directed The Tragedy. He directed The Tragedy, which was one of the best episodes of Mandalorian Season 2. If you remember that one. It's where Boba Fett was absolutely demolishing people. But,
yeah. I don't know what happened in this one. We got cyberpunk vibes, but like it just doesn't fit with Star Wars. It's like cybernetic.
No, and it feels so derivative too, like just of that cyberpunk style.
Yeah.
Star Wars that was like known for its creativity is just now doing cyberpunk, which
it just didn't look good. It didn't feel like Star Wars. I was really disappointed.
It was some Spy Kids BS.
It was some Spy Kids BS from Robert Rodriguez.
The gadgets, like. Okay, when they were setting them up in the episode, you're like expecting like these like super cool people. Like the guy's like, they're merciless, and they've connected cybernetic droid parts to them, and they're these ruthless people. And then like your expectations are like through the roof. You're like, oh my god, like this is gonna be a dope episode. And then you see them, and they're a bunch of British teenagers with Cockney accents. And these lame gadgets. Literally, one of the gadgets is like this little like extending screwdriver arm. Like
it's just like why would they roll with Boba? I just don't understand. Like it's like the coolest bounty hunter ever, and he's rolling with these people.
And then they made boomer jokes too. They were making boomer jokes. They're like, what are you doing here, old man? And it was like, and
Boba's just taking it. He's
literally taking it. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna hire you. What? Why would you hire?
And I don't know. It just doesn't fit with the art style. There's like rainbow colored bikes. The bikes are like real bright, and it just doesn't look good on Tatooine when it's all like.
Let's
saturated.
talk about the worst speeder chase in history in this episode. Literally the slowest speeder chase.
Oh, the slow speed! Oh
ever.
My gosh, that was really bad. It's like they're chasing like the mayor's assistant, and it's the slowest speeder chase I think I've ever seen. And it's just, I mean, I expect better. Like I don't know, the one thing I thought we were gonna have out of Book of Boba was like these cool, fight scenes.
Yeah, at least good action.
The choreography,
but the choreography was terrible. Like,
and it doesn't improve throughout the show.
It was chopped up. It was all these quick cuts, edits that looked so bad, and they were so slow too. It was like, okay. Well, the third episode is really when things took
a turn,
took
right?
A dive.
But four was good, I think, right?
Which one was that one?
It's let me see if I can remember this here.
I think that was the backstory one where he was in the Sarlacc pit.
Oh, that's when he drops. Yeah, that's when he meets Fennec, when he saves Fennec Shan.
Now, I liked episode 4.
It's like complete flashback. because that's when he finishes the flashback.
Yeah, I liked it because I do like the flashbacks. It's like my favorite part of the show.
Oh, there's like this really stupid scene though, where he goes super close to the Sarlacc pit, and he just gets grabbed, and that was kind of stupid. But you know, they have the sonic charge, which is awesome. I love the sonic charge, but it's like, I don't know, some of the lines too, like some "don't touch my buttons." It's like so.
Oh, it's so dumb.
And also,
like,
I don't know if this is like a controversial sort of thing, but I don't understand Finnick's reasoning for wanting to partner with Boba. It just seems so like
it seems forced.
Random.
It didn't like.
I like Finnick though.
I know I like her in the show. I like
way
her,
cooler than Boba
I like her
Fett.
As a character with Boba, but her motivations are just totally unclear.
Well, it's and like that's you saved me. I guess I'll stick around. Basically,
I'm gonna stick around.
I think that's what the line.
You have this opportunity to like explain like maybe like sort of like Finnick's like backstory. I thought we were gonna get, and maybe like her reasoning, but it's just like, yeah, cool. I'm gonna stick around with you.
Yeah, and she was in Bad Batch too, and she was like really cool in that.
Yeah, she's a cool character. She's better than Boba in this show.
Yeah, she's in her, but she's her own character. It just seems so weird to just like say, "Oh, I'm just gonna hang out with you." You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of just random.
Yeah, especially when she's been like on her own for so long now, as a bounty hunter.
It just feels random.
But this episode does have like the coolest thing of the whole show for me, and that was because it resolved something. It finally resolved the conflict. Well, you think it does. When Boba comes swooping down on his Slave One and just absolutely demolishes all of the speeder bike guys. That was awesome shot. And the shot was so cool. Where you see like the Slave One like coming
creeping in. That was good.
And it was like, it was so cool. And it was like it was like at like a Dutch angle, and then like the Slave One was like tilted, and it was just like absolutely destroying these speeders.
That was cool.
It was a really cool shot, and it was a cool thing. And it felt good because you're like, it resolved the conflict.
It was
a satisfying story.
But
then it comes back to us in the end.
And then no, they actually didn't kill the Tuskens. It was actually the Pikes the whole time.
We'll talk about that in the next when we get through the episodes. Okay,
so we do have a brief moment of like glory here for like these two episodes.
Chapter 5. Oh my gosh, the beginning of this was absolutely amazing. And I believe this was what's her name? The director? Bryce Dallas Howard. She does every good
needs to direct a Star Wars
episode.
movie.
Honestly, she was this episode when he cuts the dude in half in the very beginning. That was the sickest thing.
And
I was like,
the planet he's on is so cool.
Yeah,
it's like the ring.
It's a Halo ring. It's literally a Halo ring.
It's like two sides of a Halo ring or whatever. I was like, that's a little cheap, but I'm gonna let it slide. Anyway, he's like super cool in this, and the choreography is awesome. Where's this with Boba? I don't understand.
It seems like a total switch.
It seems like a 180.
That's why
it's like, the Mandalorian, he's Boba Fett. You know, he's like this merciless. Right. He's literally doing like a bounty hunter. You know, he's getting his bounty in. But that's what Boba Fett is, right?
Yeah, that's why it's so funny because that's what Boba Fett is, and it's just so frustrating because it's like, I guess they don't understand that the Mandalorian is the Mandalorian. It's a great show, okay, but you have Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. One of like the most beloved like Star Wars characters ever, and you had the opportunity to flesh him out and give him some actual like really cool fighting moments, and they just dropped the ball.
But then when you do stuff like this and you have the Mandalorian being the best part of the show, it makes viewers wonder, do we even want a Boba Fett show anymore?
Yeah, exactly. And that's just like, it's so annoying to me because like as like a Boba Fett fan, like a huge Boba Fett fan, it's like they have the capability of doing Boba Fett justice because we see it through the Mandalorian. And I don't know. I think this show seemed very half-baked to me. I think this was... Nobody really knew about it going into it. It was just like a tease at the end of Mandalorian Season 2. And then everybody was just like, oh, this is cool. But it didn't seem like a lot of work was put into it. It just seemed like a half-baked show that they needed before Obi-Wan.
Right.
To me.
It seems like a lot of work was put into chapters 5 and 6. I mean,
yeah,
oh my god, yeah, exactly.
They were good. And Cad Bane at the end of chapter 6. I mean, that was really cool.
I mean, one of the coolest reveals probably in the show, I'd say. Like,
yeah, and then it's like a western at the end. It's like really cool in the Freetown or whatever. It's like I want more of that show, you know?
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like we just take a dive into episode 6. We're like, whoa. Wait, Luke, Ahsoka, this is like, this is way too much for Grogu.
Way into it, yeah.
It's literally Mandalorian 2.5, and we're like, wait, we need save this for Mandalorian season 3. I was like,
it feels like
what
they jumped into it way too early.
It's like you have these characters, don't do this. And then it's just like, well, when I'm seeing Luke and Mando and Grogu, it's like,
I'm not gonna not like it.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not gonna. Exactly.
Of course, I'm gonna like it, but should this be happening?
Shouldn't be happening for Boba? And I'm like, it's like I want to see Boba, but I'm like, can we see more of this? Because it's like the story is not very good, and then I feel so guilty about it.
I believe he has like one line in this entire episode, chapter 6, and it's just like, what are you doing with him? Like why? Like,
it's just, I don't know. It's okay. We got to get into chapter 7 because a lot happens in this episode. All right, and because we got to talk about the conclusion of this. So, what happens is they have to defeat the Pikes. All right, the Pikes. How do you guys feel about the Pikes?
Oh well, okay. So, the Pikes are cool, but like any other Star Wars story, I thought they were going to get like somebody involved, because when you have a group like the Pikes or something like that, it affects like everything. Like I thought we were gonna get somebody like big, possibly, like coming in to the story, like whether it was like a fragment of like the Empire or something like that, or I guess now it would be the First Order. I don't know, but I thought there was gonna be something like big, like something
end at the Pikes.
Yeah. And the Pikes are good, but I thought there was going to be like another threat.
They feel like a secondary villain.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, it's the Pikes, and then like they just defeat. There's no like real face of the Pikes, right?
Yeah.
There's no real head except for like that one guy, but like no one really thinks about him.
And they just like
it's like
they just like throw in Cad Bane, and then they just waste his ass.
They just immediately get rid of him as soon as he entered. He's out.
They kill him, and I was just like,
"There's no backstory. There's no."
It was so unsatisfying.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I wish I could have got like more to Cad Bane, because he is so cool, obviously.
I was like, why? I thought what was going to happen, it would be way more interesting. Would be like if Cad Bane was the one who killed the Tuskens. And so it would reveal like, oh, Cad Bane is ruthless. He's a killer.
Right, and
he just wants money.
And at least that sets up a season 2 where Cad Bane could be the main villain for
exactly.
Season.
And so if Boba would kill Cad, it would be like, oh, this would finally be relieving all of his tension. He finally gets his revenge against the people that killed like these really close people in his lives. But Cad Bane didn't really do anything to him.
I feel like Cad Bane in this episode, I don't know. He's obviously cool, but in the last episode, he's like he's not really played in the character's way, right? You kind of see him in Clone Wars. He's like, he just wants money, right? He's not really ruthless. He's like ruthless in the way that he wants.
He's literally
money.
Like
but
Boba.
He's kind of a coward too, because he's running away from the Jedi at the one episode, and. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. He's smart. He's calculated.
He's calculated. He's not like just gonna run in here guns
a blazing.
He's not
filled with rage.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And then so we got to get going here.
Well, let's talk about the absolute dumbness of Boba in this episode, I guess.
Last episode. The finale. You expect something huge out of this, right?
So
not really.
Oh no!
Raincore's cool. Raincore's cool.
The guys, the creepy, shady crime family betrayed me. What? I didn't expect that.
That was just so stupid.
Of course they're gonna betray you. Like that was the most like cliche thing you could have done. You set this up, and Boba is such an idiot in this. He's like, you know what? You don't even have to like be on my side. Just remain neutral. What do you think is gonna happen?
They're not gonna remain neutral.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I saw that one coming. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of a shame that he's this stupid in this TV show.
Oh my gosh, I was hoping so badly that they would kill the mods. So they killed. That was such a shame. So they get to kill the nameless Gamorrean guards.
The nameless Gamorrean guards.
The nameless Gamorrean guards. Yeah, we can kill them, but not the mods. I'm like, I was so upset. I was like,
and I don't know. There's like, and
the
then
twirl.
The twirl.
The
We gotta let this
the
twirl.
twirl.
Do you know what we're talking about? The twirl?
I know. Yeah, I know. What
There's
the twirl
this
is.
guy
I
with
know what the
so
twirl is.
this mod with like the eyepiece, right? He sees these enemies in front of him, and what does he do? He spins 180 and then shoots them. What is the point of that? You're already facing them.
He was already facing them. Not even 180. That was a full 360 turn.
Yeah,
because he was literally facing. He goes like this.
Well, and I think
that just wasted time.
I think the fact that is like the most talked about and memorable part of this episode really shows you like how disappointing this series was as a whole.
And it was so rushed too, and they rushed the parts of the Mandalorian which I felt bad about. Save that for season 3. It's like Grogu makes this like big decision, and it's like completely rushed.
Right.
And they just keep so there's like these droideka things that are like have shields, right? But the shield, they keep shooting the shields. It's not going to penetrate the shields, number one. And I don't know, do they watch their own movies? Like, you can penetrate the shield. You can go through the shield and then
you just can't shoot.
You just
the
can't
shield.
shoot the shield.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand
hit something with it. You have to like go through it. You can walk through the shield.
Yeah, I just don't understand. That was like the dumbest thing. It's like a bubble shield, right? You can walk through the shield. You just can't penetrate it, right? So I don't understand it. I don't know. It's just got me so confused. I'm like, just walk through it. But then it's like, do you watch your own movies, Disney? Do you watch your own movies?
It's just a mess.
Let's not forget the completely pointless. Here's the sniper. Get on the rooftop. What for?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go distract it. Oh, I need the cycling rifle. The big rifle. Wait, it doesn't matter because you can't penetrate the thing anyway. So why don't you just use your little gun? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It's like they like set up things that are supposed to be like super grand, and it just doesn't pay off. And there's like this line at the end that literally makes me want to rip out my hair. But when Boba Fett goes, he saves the town. He's protecting like these people. He's like, we gotta protect the people. That's the whole episode, right? And he ends it by, I'm not cut out for this. I'm like, what?
And then he looks at the mods. Dear God, please,
don't leave the town in this hand, right? The capital of Tatooine is gonna be left in the hands of
the mods.
People?
No,
I don't know what. I don't know if he was joking. But it's just not pulled off. I don't know what's
the series was just a mess as a whole. I don't know if it'll get a season 2. I don't know if that's something that they want to do. I don't know if season 2 will also be a transitional series to like promote other shows from Disney
boy,
Plus.
I hope there's not a mod show.
But
I don't want a mod show.
But there was just a lot. There was some great, but none of it was really Boba Fett. And it had a promising enough start, but by the end, it just felt like a massive waste of time.
Gets lost in convoluted plot lines. So,
all right, I think we're gonna wrap this up by a percentage. What percentage would we get this? All right,
let's go out of 10. Let's go out of 10.
Out of 10, are we going 0.5s or anything? Or
let's do 0.5s. You can do 0.5s.
You can do a 0.5s. All right. Right now, I'm saying I'll go with, I think, a 4. I think I'm just going to go with a 4.
I'd go with a 4.5.
You're going 4.5?
I'm going to go with 4.5 as well. Wow, below average. That's what it is, though.
It hurts, but it's true.
It's true. Okay.
It's true.
Right. Well, we'll see you.
We'll see you on the next
episode of Colluvies at the Movies.
At the TV show? Who knows? All right. 3.
Like a panther. Yes,